Luke, I am your father. Nah, I'm just kidding. Today, we talk about PPE, personal protective equipment in your finishing operation. Welcome to another edition of Air Power Live.
Hey there, thank you for joining us for the demonstration of the personal protective equipment, or known throughout the finishing industry and manufacturing in general as PPE. But our goal is to help you, help yourself, and possibly your employees, to protect your body both inside and out at work every day. Come home safe.
That's your job. Go home safe to your family. And the way we're going to show you today is going to help you do that.
Now first, let's take off our glasses and let's talk about inside the body. So, you know, we see masks. There's all kinds of things. There's masks. There's, if you want to consider eyes inside, you want to consider anything that's inside your body. So primarily your respiration system. So let's talk about mostly what we do at Air Power to help folks, but also what they need to be thinking about in general.
Stages. First, only thing that's really required with powder coating is a dust nuisance mask. That's all that's required by OSHA, right? So, but it's a good one. It has a vent in it so that you don't have all the condensation staying on you. So that's important to have that at a minimum. That's a bare minimum.
And listen, I just want to say this. You're absolutely correct, and I know you're going to go a little deeper with this, but I cannot tell you enough how many times I've been in manufacturing operations where you have powder coating or sanding, either one going on, where nobody is wearing respiration, where you have two lines of powder coming straight out of the nostrils down to the top of the lip, and they're ready to go home after breathing that all day long. You do not want to do that. Taking and ingesting dust over and over again from that same source is going to get in your lungs and cause issues. Powder is the same way. Powder is not rated with VOCs. It's not toxic, but you don't want to breathe it, just like you don't want to breathe drywall dust, which is a very similar cousin to the powder coating spray. So you just need to be careful. Don't breathe it. Take care of your lungs.
Long-term exposure, folks. It's all about long-term. So when we come off of the dust respirator, then when we can come into an organic respirator that people are used to, that spray liquids to protect themselves
with solvents and VOCs.
Solvents and stuff. You put this on, you snap it in. One of the issues there that people run into with that is that if you have a beard like Travis does, it's not going to seal. And a lot of your OSHA and your in-house people, right? Your in-house people that you have there at your shop are going to require a fit test. And they take the ammonia thing like they used to do for boxers. They break it open and you smell it and you see if you can smell any of that ammonia, because this takes that out. You don't smell any of that with that. So if that doesn't fit well because of facial hair, then you can go to a couple of other things to help with that. There are the fuller masks that go around you that have a little bit more coverage for somebody like a goatee that's trimmed up. But like for Travis, you're going to have to get into a hood, right, that we showed you at the beginning of the video, that'll have a bib in the front, a bib in the back, that tucks down in your suit. That is maximum protection from you. When you use this, it can be through a battery powered pack on the back that filters out and down to HEPA filtration, very high filtration, or you can do it through a grade D breathable air system that uses your compressed air or a free air pump outside of the spray area to bring you fresh grade D as in David breathable air. It has 3 stages of filtration in it. It utilizes particulate and moisture, coalescing to take the oils out from your compressor, and a charcoal filter to take the taste and the odor out. and it also has a carbon monoxide monitor, so that if someone parks a forklift near your compressor or a vehicle, it will sense that, it will alarm, you will stop using what you're doing, and you won't be harmed by that. Another thing that goes along with this is a couple of things that are important for that, right? One, it's going to be hot in the summertime, and if you're really cold in your environment, we can do that too, but this is called a cool tube. You put that in from your compressed air source, you come through here, it lowers the temperature by 30 degrees. We also have these that are dual purpose, that you can heat with it or cool with it, up to about 30 degrees, so it helps the operator comfort level, and if the operator's comfortable, you get a better quality paint job throughout the day. They stay more viable, they're happier, they're not so tired and fighting their environment, right? As part of this, you also have a wide belt that helps to manage all of this stuff, so you're not fighting that and it's not pulling back on your head. It's all taken care of. There's an adjustable strap in here, click, 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 to your size. There's sweatbands that go along with that. You can wear glasses underneath it, but you don't have to worry about facial hair and any kind of leakage that would come from around an item like this.
And these also come in hard hat type hoods, where if you're in an operation like a sandblasting operation and you need that extra protection, you don't need something so thin, there are those units that are also, you know, the air pumping in. What I do want to stress is that the connectors that connect these types of units to the breathing air to these suits.
It'll come in here, it'll come from here, must be separate, must be.
And they are different connectors than your standard connectors that come from your air compressor lines, and there's a reason for that. You can die from the inhalation from the air source coming from simply a standard line, a standard hose coming from an air compressor. And these units use a different set of connections so that you'll never accidentally go and connect the wrong thing in your plant, so that you always have that clean air. And these units will notify you, sometimes with an alarm, if you've reached a limit or you're in a danger zone for your air, so that there is no chance of you having a bad air, dangerous intake situation.
Down to the parts per million. We're registering parts per million, 10 parts per million, and that's your threshold here in the States. So what we want to do is make sure that you understand that these are levels of protection that are available for you. I want to go a little bit further on what Travis said, because it's uber important. This fitting that comes out of here, it's a quick disconnect, just like you have in your shop for your tools and everything else, your blow-off nozzles and all that. It cannot be the same as anything else in your shop. Your shop may have, for an explosion environment, for whatever reason, may have nitrogen hooked up that you run tools into a certain location. You wouldn't want to hook yourself up to nitrogen. There's no oxygen there. You're going to pass out. And if nobody's around, you're going to end up being there and you're going to die. So very important that this quick disconnect is totally separate than anything else in your shop. It just depends on what you have in your shop. Talk to your account manager. Let them help you choose that. One other thing with this is that from the box unit, from this unit out to the hood, has to be the same brand. So from the hose to the nose has to be the same brand.
Not because we said so.
That's OSHA.
That's OSHA.
So you're going to have a rubber hose that goes to here. It has to be the same brand as this. This happens to be Bullard, one of our partners, and then this is Bullard, one of our partners. So you want a Bullard hose to connect these two.
Yep.
That's just
and
the way it
fittings.
is. And your cool tube has to be Bullard. So everything in line downstream of the filtration and monitoring system has to be the same brand, okay? No matter whose brand it is, it has to be the same brand.
All right, Eddie, let's talk about gloves. I know that there are hundreds, literally maybe thousands of different types of gloves. You don't need all of them for your operation, but I can tell you in a finishing operation, in general industry, general manufacturing, which a lot of our finishers do, there are a number of gloves that they need on the premises. So let's talk about a few of those.
Great. Okay, so for liquid painting, we have gauntlet style that comes up, protects your wrist, goes over the top of your sleeve of your protective PPE, either coveralls or lab coat like I have on, or the really nice coveralls that Travis has on that will take you into Ford, GM, Chrysler, and those plants. So this strip grounds you to the gun, the electrostatic gun, so you're in good shape there, right? If you're powder coating, we have powder coating gloves that also ground you to the handle of the powder gun. These are conductive, they're washable, you can launder them, you continue to reuse them. Neither glove sweats you, so that's not a bad thing, right? Okay, so when you're doing solvents and you're washing up your liquid spray equipment, whether it's conventional gun, a pump, a nozzle, an electrode, whatever it is, with solvent, you got little cheap nitrile gloves, heavy nitrile gloves, right? The heavier nitrile gloves won't tear as easily and they will protect you much better. Just don't be sticking your hands down in the solvent. Long term, that's bad for you. Don't do it, right? Should your hands get dirty, wear 2 gloves and you peel them off, right? Get extra layers for that. Ovens, so when you go to take your powder coated parts, push them in and out of ovens, or grab one out of an oven, or push a rack in, pull a rack out. High temp gloves are used to protect your hands there. These are typically good for about 450 or so, which is about the top of the temperature range that you would be curing your parts at for powder coating anyway. So protecting your hands there. While we're protecting our hands, I want to talk about scrubs. Do not take your hands and wash them all out in solvent. If you've protected them, you're in pretty good shape. If you get just a little bit on you, take these, you pull them out. It's got a citrus-based cleaner on it that's not harmful to you or the environment. Clean yourself up with that.
Develops a soapy
It does. It
residue
foams
on the
up a
hand
bit.
that then just dissolves.
And there's some pumice in it too. So when you need to clean yourself up, clean it up with this. Don't clean it up with solvent. These are inexpensive. Our partner Carlisle has these, and you can have those at your disposal, and you just toss them right off in your regular trash. They don't have to go into an oily rag can like if you were trying to clean your hands with an old solvent rag, right? So if you just had an old solvent rag dipped and soaked in solvent and you're cleaning all your stuff up, this has to go in an oily rag can that's a special can. It's got to be grounded and all that stuff. If you use this, throw it in the trash.
Not to mention the regular exposure to washing your hands in the solvent. It does go into your pores. You do have that, so you want to be careful there.
Don't do it. Bottom line, don't do it.
All right, we're going to move up a little bit farther than gloves. Not quite the brain, but right here. These are forearm protectors, required in a lot of shops or a lot of factories that are running extruded aluminum or a high volume of moving racks with steel or aluminum. Because of the cut edges of these bars or the lengths of the extrusions, it's very easy to rub up against them every now and then. They can be pretty brutal.
Sharp edges.
Sharp edge. So these are required in most of those shops. So you need to, if it's required, you need to make sure you're wearing the required PPE. But if you're in a situation, make sure, if you're in a situation where this is not required and you think, hey, you know, there's a lot of risk there, just get one of these. They're not that expensive. You can get a set for both arms. Comes with a clip on top that clips straight onto your shirt up here on the top, or your paint suit, whatever, and it'll hold it in place throughout the day. It adds a little bit of warmth to your body. Wintertime, nobody complains about them. Summertime, they get kind of hot. They get kind of warm.
And you can launder them. So.
But it's well worth the risk, or well worth the temperature of dealing with that, and a slight bit of uncomfort versus slicing straight through your bodysuit or slicing straight into your skin and causing the need for stitches.
Again, your family wants you to come home safe at the end of the day, so be very conscious about that. And should you have any questions about any of these things here, right, call us, but certainly your first question should go to your EH&S person there at your facility, right?
Correct.
Your environmental health and safety person will know the codes for what you're doing at your plant, and it may be specific and have nothing to do with the plant that you came from before. So if you're swapping jobs, you're new to a place, talk to them about the PPE and they'll get you squared
Correct.
away.
Steel-toed footwear has come a long way.
It has.
I remember when, even at my age, I remember when the selections were awful. Like, just the comfort wasn't there.
Clunky.
Now you've got
Heavy.
manufacturers like Merrill and Keen that have taken basically like a hiking boot type technology and made that in a stainless steel option. These are my own personal, and I really like the fact that they have zip tie right there. So if I'm going into a plant, I can put them on very quickly and I can take them off very quickly and cinch as I go. So
and that helps for lunch and breaks and stuff like that too, right?
I have a lot of road miles that I do in my vehicle, so it's easy to get out to the vehicle, take those off, and be ready to go with, you know, Vans or something.
Or Vans.
Yeah, or Vans. I have a Vans problem.
So we haven't talked much about headwear really yet. We saw some of that stuff in earlier videos. Travis has a hard hat on now. One of the things that people don't recognize is that with liquid coatings, one of the most absorbable areas on your person is your head. So you have to watch out for that, more especially with isocyanates. That's probably a different subject, but protect your head. If it's the hood, you can protect your hat if you like your hat, right? But keep this protected too. The commercial grade painters, industrial painters out on job site using all the airless equipment and stuff, they'll typically use a head sock. You can use a head sock too. We got them here at Air Power, just call for them. But this, just remind yourself, protect my head too. Not just my nose, my feet, and my body, but protect my head as well.
Clothing, beyond headwear, let's talk about clothing. So clothing is often dictated by the facility that you work in, what they require you to wear. Some of them are color coded. I know if I go into some plants, I have to wear, even if I'm not required anything but maybe a hard hat and ears and eyes, they'll make me wear either a yellow one of these or an orange one to indicate, indicate employee or guest or supplier. Right. So we have our own set of rules we have to follow going into customers' facilities. But there are a lot of different things that we have at options for clothing. The simplest would be the Tyvek suits. They order them all the time. They don't breathe real well.
They're very hot, but they stop liquids from penetrating. So if you've got splash, if you're the guy on the line required to wash these parts with, say, a pressure washer, and you got splashback, then that's going to be different PPE for you than it would somebody else, right? And if sometimes you get the coating on you, maybe the Tyvek's going to protect you better for penetration than to not get it on your underclothing, and then it would stay on you and maybe burn you after a period of time. But they're hot and they do lint a little bit. The particular lab coat that I've got on is very breathable, it's very lightweight, and it doesn't burn you up, and it keeps the overspray off of you. Overspray, I wouldn't want to pour liquid on this, but overspray, it'll protect you very well from that, right? The next step would be full coveralls out of the same material. And then when you get to the style that Travis has on, we're required to have these in automotive assembly plants and tier 1 facilities that they are approved by the big three, Ford, Chevy, Chrysler. If you do not have that type of suit, you do not go in the paint room, period. Yep. They just have that level of quality because they don't want to take a chance for you linting and contaminating the product and having rework.
If you need help with PPE, if you want to talk to Air Power, please call us at 800-334-1001 or visit us online at airpower-usa.com, or even better, head over to your favorite social media channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We've got channels in all of those. We're located in all of those. So we'd love to see you. We've got a lot of videos posted, a lot of articles posted, and reach out to us. We'd be glad to help.
See you next time.